Hi, I'm Bobby and welcome to Dusty Old Movies. I've been asked to do a video where I recommend 31 movies for this Halloween season. So a different movie for each night in October. However, I feel like a lot of people already know to watch Halloween and Hocus Pocus. So my list is going to be all classic horror. Now there is some debate, but the classic era in Hollywood is generally considered to be the 1910s through the 1960s. That's the era of horror that I'm most passionate about, and I think it'll give you a spooktacular Halloween season.
At the devil's ball, at the devil's ball, at the devil's ball, at the devil's ball, I saw the cute Mrs. Devil's doll.
For Friday, October 1st, I recommend The Mask of the Red Death, starring Vincent Price. Halloween is about having fun while being scary, and no one captures that as much as Vincent Price. He did 7 movies for Roger Corman, based on the works of Edgar Allan Poe, and this is my favorite one. Plus, the masquerade party scene is sure to put you in that Halloween mood. For Saturday, October 2nd, I recommend The Innocents. This is the spookiest ghost story I've ever seen. It's based on the book The Turn of the Screw by Henry James, and it's about a governess who works at a mansion where the 2 kids get possessed by ghosts. But the way they film it, you're never sure if they're really possessed or if it's in the governess's mind. Sunday, October 3rd. This is the first full week in October, so our theme is Ladies First. And we'll start with my second favorite movie of all time, The Bad Seed, starring Patty McCormack as Rhoda Penmark, a little girl who kills people. Before doing the movie, she had starred in the Broadway play, so she owns this role just as much as the grown-up horror icons. And when he was a little boy, Robert Englund, Freddy Krueger himself, was afraid of her. Monday, October 4th, The Bride of Frankenstein, starring Boris Karloff as the monster and Elsa Lanchester, aka Question Mark, as the bride. She only appears near the end, but her appearance and performance is so amazing that she is the most iconic female classic movie monster. Plus, the film has a personality and sense of humor unlike anything you'll ever see. And don't be scared. In the opening, Elsa Lanchester also plays Mary Shelley, and she goes over the plot of the first film. Tuesday, October 5th, Arsenic and Old Lace, starring Josephine Hull and Gina Dare, reprising their Broadway roles of Aunt Abby and Aunt Martha Brewster, 2 sweet little old ladies who poison people by putting arsenic in their elderberry wine. This is one of the best horror comedies ever written. Plus, it's set on Halloween, so it totally captures the spirit of the holiday. For Wednesday, October 6th, why don't you relax and put your head on a nice comfy pillow and watch Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, starring Bette Davis as the psychotic former child star Baby Jane Hudson, and Joan Crawford is her long-suffering sister Blanche. In real life and in the movie, they hated each other, and you can feel the tension. For mainstream movie stars, horror could have been a step down, but this is so well done that it's really a highlight for both of their careers. Thursday, October 7th, Black Sunday, starring the queen of all scream queens, Barbara Steele, in her most famous role, which is actually the dual role as both the evil vampire witch and her innocent descendant. And to both, she brings this incredible haunting quality. It's also directed by the highly visual Mario Bava, who is known as the master of Italian horror films. For Friday, October 8th, Plan 9 from Outer Space, starring Vampira. Vampira was the original horror movie hostess on TV. Her show only aired in Los Angeles, but she had fan clubs all over the world. Unfortunately, every episode of the Vampira show was lost, so Plan 9 from Outer Space is the main way that people watch her. Now, the movie has a reputation of being the worst film of all time, but it's fun, and I think you'll dig it. And she's haunting and beautiful in it. It also stars the wrestler Tor Johnson, who inspired this Halloween mask, and Dracula himself, Bela Lugosi, who died before production. Saturday, October 9th. It's Saturday, and I hope you're off, because I suggest you watch at least 2 or 3 episodes of The Munsters and of The Addams Family. Both shows go great together, and the episodes I've chosen will highlight television's most spectacular moms. Yvonne DiCarlo is Lily Munster, and Carolyn Jones is Morticia Addams. For Lily, I would suggest Far Out Munster, Lily Munster Girl Model, and Happy 100th Anniversary. And for Morticia, I would suggest Morticia's Romance Part 1 and 2 and Halloween Addams Style.
Good evening. This is Director's Week, so for Sunday, October 10th, after you get cleaned up, you should watch Psycho by the master suspense himself, Alfred Hitchcock.
Hitchcock was a genius, and Psycho is his most popular, scariest, and most influential film. In 1960, the scene where Janet Leigh gets stabbed to death in the shower was so scary that some people switched from taking showers to taking baths. My grandma included. She wouldn't take a shower for a month. And I don't want to spoil it for you, but that Norman Bates guy is pretty memorable too. Monday, October 11th, House on Haunted Hill by William Castle. William Castle was a horror director who always had these crazy gimmicks to go with his movies. They were cheap, but always fun. This one had a Merjo, and during the part where the skeleton comes out of the vat of acid, the theater would unleash a skeleton on a wire that would go over the audience. And just in case your house isn't rigged with a Merjo, it also stars Vincent Price. For Tuesday, October 12th, I've dug up another classic for you, The Body Snatcher. Now I'm going to cheat just a little. This was directed by Robert Weiss, who was very talented, but more importantly, it was produced by Val Lewton. RKO Studios would assign him a crazy title, a low budget, and a short schedule. But then he had total creative freedom. And he was really into psychological horror, lots of shadows, and what you don't see is what's frightening. He did 9 horror films for RKO. They're all wonderful, but this is my favorite one. Boris Karloff plays the Body Snatcher, and after Frankenstein's monster, I think it's his greatest role. Wednesday, October 13th, I recommend you watch at least 4 or 5 episodes of the Paranormal Anthology series, One Step Beyond.
The amazing drama you're about to see is a matter of human record. You may believe it or not, but the real people who lived this story, they believe it. They know. They took that one step beyond.
The entire series was hosted and directed by John Newland, whose emphasis was believability, and each episode is based on some piece of actual paranormal evidence. I recommend the ones The Haunted U-Boat, If You See Sally, The Death Waltz, The Sacred Mushroom, and The Clown. Wednesday, October 14th, Night of the Living Dead by George Romero. Now, White Zombie was the first zombie film, but this is the first one to depict the flesh-eating zombies that we know today. George Romero was the iconic zombie director. He made other classics, but to me, the black and white gives Night of the Living Dead an added level of realism and atmosphere. For Friday, October 15th, The War of the Worlds radio broadcast by Orson Welles. This originally aired on Halloween, and it's based on the H.G. Wells novel about alien invasion. But the way Orson Welles does it is as if it's actually happening. Like this is a news show and these are reporters on the scene. And I think it will show you just how effective and scary old-time radio can be. And when it originally aired, people believed it was real, that we were really being invaded by aliens. In fact, one of my viewers said that his grandmother actually committed suicide because she was so terrified. All right, my darling, for Saturday, October 16th, Sweetest Day, I recommend The Unknown by Todd Browning. This is my favorite silent film. Todd Browning was known as the Edgar Allan Poe of the screen, and he had a passion for all things bizarre. Lon Chaney plays a criminal with a thumb deformity, pretending to be the armless man in the circus. He falls in love with Joan Crawford, who has a phobia about arms, so he gets his arms surgically removed. But by the time he comes back, she's over her fear and is going to marry the strong man. So Lon Chaney tries to pull the strong man's arms out of their sockets. October 17th. I'm a believer in the birthday week, so our theme will be Bela Lugosi and the Vampires. We'll start with the movie that came out before Dracula, the silent classic Nosferatu, a symphony of horrors. The story is based on Bram Stoker's novel, but they didn't pay for the rights, So the character is called Count Orlok, and he is even more repulsive than the Dracula in the book, and the whole film feels like a living nightmare.
Monday, October 18th, Dracula, starring Bela Lugosi. This is my favorite movie of all time. Can't you tell? With his slick back hair and genuine Hungarian accent, Bela defined the role of Count Dracula. Images you see of the character are based on him and not the Dracula of the book. And his intensity and total commitment to the role makes you believe that he really is a vampire. The atmosphere is wonderfully weird, the dialogue is unforgettable, and last but not least, White Fly is a bug-tastic as Dracula's insect-eating slave Renfield.
I am Dracula.
Rats. Rats. Thousands. Millions of them.
Tuesday, October 19th, Dracula's Daughter. This is a direct sequel to Dracula, and Gloria Holden captures some of those haunting and exotic qualities of Bela Lugosi. She really feels like his daughter, but with the added dimension that she hates being a vampire and wants to be cured. The film tells a sophisticated story with a lesbian subtext, and horror author Anne Rice has said that Dracula's Daughter was a major influence on her vampire fiction.
Wednesday, October 20th, it is Bela Lugosi's birthday, and we're going with White Zombie. Bela Lugosi plays the zombie master murder legendary, and according to Clarence Muse, he also helped with the writing, the staging of scenes, and with the directing. The credited director, Victor Hasperin, isn't really known for his great visual style, so it's fair to assume that a lot of the creativity and artistic choices were from Bela Lugosi. Thursday, October 21st, Horror of Dracula. In the late 50s through the early 70s, Hammer was the main horror studio, and Christopher Lee was their Dracula. And he brought this incredible physicality to the role. His real-life best friend Peter Cushing also plays his signature Hammer character, Professor Van Helsing, and he is my favorite on-screen vampire hunter.
For Friday, October 22nd, the original Gothic horror soap opera from 1966, Dark Shadows, starring the Shakespearean stage actor Jonathan Frid as the reluctant vampire Barnabas Collins. Barnabas is my second favorite vampire, and Dark Shadows is my favorite show. It originally aired at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, like a normal soap opera, but it is filled with vampires, witches, ghosts, werewolves, and even time travel. There's no other show like it. Now there are 1,225 episodes, but I suggest that you start with episode 210, which is the introduction to Barnabas Collins. And I would say watch at least 5 episodes to give yourself a chance to get hooked. For Saturday, October 23rd, search your movie collection nevermore, because I recommend The Raven, starring Bela Lugosi and Boris Karloff. Bela plays Dr. Waldman, a mad scientist obsessed with the writings of Edgar Allan Poe, and has constructed several of the torture devices that Poe described in his stories. This is a predecessor to Scream, a horror fan gone insane, and Bela just relishes the gruesome, macabre spirit of Edgar Allan Poe.
This is the last week before Halloween, and our theme is Icons of Universal Horror. So for Sunday, October 24th, we'll start with the silent version of The Phantom of the Opera, starring Lon Chaney Sr. When Bela Lugosi and Boris Karloff came into prominence, the talk was, are they the new Lon Chaney? Not only was he a brilliant actor who could reveal these tortured emotions without words, but he was also a brilliant makeup artist and was known as the Man of 1,000 Faces, and this is his most famous makeup. Monday, October 25th, Frankenstein, starring Boris Karloff. Billed mysteriously as just ? Boris Karloff brings this corpse-like body language, the cruelty of a criminal brain, and a childlike sympathy and innocence to the monster. Jack Pierce's makeup is the greatest horror makeup of all time, And the scene in the laboratory where Dr. Frankenstein brings the monster to life is one of the most famous and quoted moments in horror history.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Tuesday, October 26th, The Wolfman, starring Lon Chaney Jr. Even a man who is pure in heart, who says his prayers by night, may become a wolf when the wolfbane blooms and the autumn moon is bright. This is the quintessential werewolf movie. Almost everything we know about werewolf mythology is from this film. It has a hair-raising makeup, a spectacular cast, and an atmosphere that is filled with fog. By the way, Lon Chaney Jr. loved being the Wolfman. And on Halloween nights for the neighborhood kids, he would howl at the moon. For Wednesday, October 27th, Spider Baby, starring Lon Chaney Jr. This is the greatest of his final roles, and it's about a family that when the children reach a certain age, they go down the evolutionary ladder and become spiders. It has this Addams Family style of humor, but is scarier, and it features future horror icon Sid Haig. For Thursday, October 28th, The Invisible Man, starring Claude Rains. With his voice alone, Claude Rains has this incredible screen presence. He's crazy, scary, and funny as Jack Griffin. Known as the Doctor, John Fulton did the special effects. And for 1933, they're incredible. And unlike today, where it's usually computers, they will leave you wondering, how did they do that?
We're getting close. For Friday, October 29th, Bum-Bum-Bum! The Creature from the Black Lagoon. He is my second favorite Universal monster. He is so groovy looking. He has the emotional depth just like the other Universal monsters, and the Black Lagoon is just filled with atmosphere. When it was originally released, it was the first 3D movie to have underwater scenes, and you can see its influence on Jaws, Bump Bump, Bump 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 Bump, Jurassic Park, The Shape of the Water, Alien, Predator, and so many other films. For Saturday, October 30th, The Black Cat. Even though they're not playing their signature roles, this movie is the first pairing of two horror icons in the same film, Bela Lugosi and Boris Karloff. I love how dark and twisted it is. They both have spectacular roles. Boris Karloff plays the leader of a satanic church. His character is based on the Aleister Crowley. And Bela Lugosi plays a World War I veteran, which he was in real life, who is haunted by his past and out for revenge. And the climax is one of the spookiest scenes to ever come out of Universal Horror.
The big day is finally here. Sunday, October 31st, Halloween. And I think you should watch Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. This was my introduction to classic horror, and it's great for all ages. The hilarious comedy team Bud Abbott and Lou Costello encounter Count Dracula, played by Bela Lugosi, the Wolfman, played by Lon Chaney Jr., Frankenstein's monster, now it's not Boris Karloff, but Glenn Strange had played them in the last two films, and Vincent Price, who starred in The Invisible Man Returns, does a cameo as the Invisible Man. The monster actors own these roles and play them dramatically, so it still has that classic horror aura, with the good clean fun of Abbott and Costello. To me, this is Halloween.
So Family Channel, eat your heart out. This is how Halloween should really be done. I hope you do take up some of my recommendations and let me know how you like them. This is what I'll be watching too, and I think we'll both enjoy 31 nights of classic horror for this Halloween.
The devil's toy ma was standing at the bar, conversing with the little fellow.